We are live in Studio C. This is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. I am Spencer Linton alongside Jerem Jordan. Joining us now, as promised, is BYU basketball assistant coach Nick Robinson, here to break down the non-conference schedule specifically. BYU has a full slate now. Nick, congratulations. I know this thing is a huge undertaking. It's finalized.
No, this was easy, right?
It's out. Yeah.
This was simple.
Walk us through the process. What is it like trying to put together a schedule?
Well, it's super exciting to be able to go through the challenge, right, of figuring out how we can build a resume in non-conference to become a tournament team, right, as we go through conference. And so, you know, this year we've got a couple of return games. We've got a couple of series that are going on, but we're super excited about our MTE in the Bahamas, going to Atlantis, right, start off with a great opponent with a great field. And then we've got at San Diego State, right, which is a great quality game early on where we'll really be tested and find out where we are. And in December, we've got a couple of in-state teams that will be in town. We've got Utah on December 17th.
No familiar faces on that roster of staff. Yep.
And Utah Valley on December 7th.
Yep.
So.
Hey, there's some hell to pay there with UVU. So welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, let's talk about what we were discussing, which is enough quality games to get into the tourney or not. What do you have a target of, like, okay, we're hoping there's this many quad ones, this many quad twos. You project, you look at the net from the last year, the last 5 years, whatever. What are you looking at to assess, okay, how many teams we need of what we think will be required to make the tournament?
Yeah, so right now, right, we believe that there's 6 to 8, right, quad 1 or quad 2 projected teams on our schedule in non-conference to start.
In non-conference?
In non-conference.
And that's taking into account where you play the games.
Exactly,
well, yeah.
Right? So whether you're at home, you're on a neutral site.
Yeah.
And so our goal, right, in projecting out is right around 5 or 6 to 7, right, quad 1 or quad 2 in the non-conference. And then clearly you have Gonzaga, right, which is always a quad 1.
No matter
right,
where you
in
play.
conference. And then, right, then the next 2 or 3 teams in league, right, depending on where you're playing, will be quad 2 or quad 1.
Yeah. And then next year, will that change dramatically, given how tough the Big 12 schedule will be?
It does, right? In the Big 12, right, we have 18 conference games. 16 of those, right, will be quad 1 or quad 2, right? And so our non-conference schedule will adjust
I'm
accordingly.
sweating thinking about that. Like, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. And so that number probably changes, right, in non-conference of, okay, we don't need to be as aggressive as a high major.
Yeah, well, when you add, right, the SEC Challenge, which takes place at the end of January, as well as the Big East Challenge, which takes place right after Thanksgiving sometime in early December.
You guys will add the Big Sky Challenge,
right,
and the Big West Challenge.
Well, right now, right, in a given season, we've had anywhere from 11 to 13 quad 1 or quad 2 games.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you get 17 or 18 before you even schedule any in the non-conference.
You're like, do we need a quad 1 in non-conference? Like, technically, you wouldn't. So it's interesting.
It is interesting. It's a different way of scheduling. But this year's schedule, right, we feel, right, will help prepare us just like it did last year, right, to be right there at the end of the year when it comes to NCAA tournament.
Way to bring it back. Sorry, I was excited about next year.
Nick Robinson is with us, BYU basketball assistant coach. How do you use this year to prepare for the onslaught that you're going to face next year, just from the scheduling perspective?
You know, from a scheduling perspective, it's 2 very, very different approaches. And so this year, we're focused on this year. We weren't even thinking about what's going to prepare us for next year, because that schedule will be very, very different than this year's schedule.
Okay, talk about, you mentioned the ones that stick out. In men's hoops, you are rewarded for a strength of schedule. The metrics in this sport are the best of any sport because the committee actually looks at them and makes them public. So it's fun for us in January to go, this road game at pick your destination means this. What is it like for you guys to assess not only in preseason in making the schedule, but also in season of this is what we need to do, and this is why this game matters more than, say, in the past you didn't have those metrics?
Yeah, well, as you know, Coach Pope is very analytical in his approach, right? And that is also in our scheduling. And so as we go throughout the season, right, not only are we analyzing our team, but we're also analyzing exactly what it is we need to do game by game. Now, clearly, we'd love to go undefeated and win every game. But based on whether we're at home, right, whether away, whether at a neutral site, right, it does have a little bit more implication as we get towards March.
September 26th, first day of practice. Unbelievably, that is 19 days away. And then basketball season for you guys officially begins. What can you tell us about this roster that we might not know, and why you feel like they're ready for a challenging schedule like this? Because frankly, I mean, Jeremy and I feel like we know quite a bit, but it's a brand new team. So why does this team stack up well with the schedule and the opportunities in front of them?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the guys that are returning to our roster, right, we've seen tremendous growth, right, in their progress just this summer, right? I mean, Spencer and Gideon, Foose, Atiki, right, Trey Stewart, those guys have done a tremendous job, right, of working on their bodies, right, of working on their game in specific areas that we feel are going to help them, right, help us. In addition, right, their leadership has grown. And so we expect them, right, to continue to, right, advance and bring their experience into the games that are on our schedule this year, right? And then we've added, right, some guys that have played some very high-level basketball, right, in Noah Waterman, right, in Jax Robinson, and in Rudy Williams, right? Those guys have been at a high level, right, over the past few years, and so we're going to need their experience, right, as we get through some adversity, right, to be able to overcome that in the games, but also to be able to, right, respond on the next game.
Yeah. How many games does it take for a new group like this to gel? Like, do you give them like a little bit of a waiting period? How many games do they need before they're like, okay, we're a team?
Well, we feel like, right, as we go through practice, we're building that right away. Like you said, we're 19 days away from, right, the first practice. And then we've got, right, the blue-white scrimmage, and we've got Midnight Madness, and we've got our closed scrimmage and our exhibition. And so we feel in those 4 or 5 games, they've got to be ready come November 7th, which is 61 days away.
Yeah.
Right?
He
and
knows.
We got to go
You
right
counting
now.
down? Let's go. I love that you're
They got
counting
the
down.
paper chain in the office, and they rip one every day. What role did the slip and slide play the other day in ensuring you make the NCAA tournament?
You know, the slip and slide, right, is a real metaphor for, right, this season, right? You got to build up the courage to get ready for game number 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And some guys, right, you know, it takes a little bit of time. The water's cold, right? It's dark outside, right? The slide might be a little too fast. You're a little nervous about the baby soap that might get in your eyes.
The soap's a real
right?
issue in
It's
the
a
eyes.
real
It's
issue
a
in the
thing.
eyes.
Why put
You
the
know?
soap in there?
But as soon as you
Slippery.
make that jump, as soon as you
slippery.
make that jump, we are moving.
Okay,
Right? We're going
okay.
super fast. And you might have a pose on the way every now and again, right?
For the camera?
You gotta have, you have a big win. It's a swag moment, right? You know, okay,
That was good.
okay.
But ultimately, right, it was great because every single person, right, got an opportunity to do it, and we're all in this together, right, from day one to get all the way to March.
What is
Hey,
yeah.
I don't know what I expected out of that.
That was
answer.
incredible. That was incredible.
That was way better.
That was incredible. What's the identity of this team, Nick? What is the core of this team as far as an identity goes?
You know, I think we're building that identity right now, right? Coach Pope, right, as you know, right, we've been talking about this for 3 years since we got here. Our identity right now is to get better every day, right, to be relentless in our approach, right, to strive to have the best locker room in America, right, through all the ups and downs. But again, right, this identity, the identity for this team, right, is still being established, right? We're excited for what's ahead of us. We're excited for, right, the adjustments, right, that Coach Pope and Coach Feger, right, have made, right, for this team. And we'll see what happens when we get there.
What kind of adjustments are you referring to?
Well, in terms of, you know, the personnel that we have, right, we feel like we're probably the longest team, right, that we've been, right, over the past 3 years, right? We've got some, you know, youth, right, that's going to be able to come in and have some opportunities, right? But we've got a nice mix of veterans and newcomers, and so we want to be able to see what we can do in terms of playing, right, you know, the style of basketball that's going to suit this team, right, and their length and their capabilities.
So the roster dictates sort of the philosophy on offense and defense to some degree.
Absolutely.
Like, how do we use Noah Waterman at 6'10" shooting threes?
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so you brought up some guys that have worked, you said, have made great progress over the summer. One in particular I want to ask about, and that is Atiki Atiki. Where have you seen him make the most progress? Because rim protection, we were wondering about, like, a bunch of guys are leaving. Like, who besides Atiki can play center? So how has Atiki developed?
Yeah, Atiki, right, a year ago had played very limited basketball through his high school experience. He got thrown in the fire at the end of November and did a tremendous job, right, with the role that he was given. Right, this summer, he's really focused, right, on his decision making, on his passing, right, and his defensive, right, ability and IQ. Right, and so the game, right, the speed of the game was all brand new, and so he's been able to see that now for a year. And so this summer, right, he's really been focused in a few areas, right, that we feel are going to be able to help, right, our team. But clearly, he brings a lot of energy, right, brings a lot of rim protection, and we love those, right, amazing dunks, right, that he provides, right, for everybody.
Yeah, I think 3 days in a row we talked about him jumping. Yeah. Just his leaping ability, right? Okay, when it comes to games, we talk about trap games. Oh, there's this easier game before this really hard game. Da, da, da. This season could be a trap season, but I get the sense that you guys aren't focused on the Big 12 at all. Like, that will come later. It's this final year in the Big 12. I don't get the sense that any team on campus is looking at next year as opposed to this year right in front of them, because guess what? There's a lot of WCC teams that want to pick you off in the final year. Is that accurate? Are you guys are really focused on this year?
Yeah, just like our fall sports right now are focused on this year and the next game, we're going to be the same, right? I mean, cross country, volleyball, football, soccer, right? They're all in top 25 right now because they're focused right here and now, right? And as we enter, right, our season, right, with, women's basketball and swim and dive and everybody else, we want to stay focused right here and right now. The Big 12 is super exciting. It's super scary, right, as Coach Pope has said. But that's still, right, 9 months away, right? And so right now we've got a real opportunity, right, to take one game at a time, to focus on our non-conference schedule and be ready for the WCC, right? Gonzaga is still a top 5 team.
Let's go.
Breaking news.
And we still have an opportunity, right, to go away with a championship.
For sure. Nick Robinson, I know you will be focused in, you'll be dialed in and ready for Cougar Canyon on Saturday because the basketball team is going to be there from 6:30 to 7:30 Mountain Time. I don't know if you can bring a slip and slide. Maybe you can work something out there. Can you imagine that down Cougar Canyon? I'm just throwing it out there.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'd love to see you two on the slip and slide.
Fair enough.
That'd be fun.
Fair enough.
Just minimal soap. Maybe no soap? Like, come on.
Nick, congratulations on putting together a great schedule. Good luck as practice begins on September 26th. We'll see you soon.
Great team effort. We're super excited.
All right, Nick Robinson, assistant coach BYU basketball.